We are back on the Rational Boomer podcast. Hopefully your day is going well. By the time you hear this on the podcast, it will be Tuesday, but we're also doing a TikTok live. So we hope to get a bunch of folks on the show. We'll have some of the regulars and some new people too. So what we like to do on this show is talk to a bunch of people, get different perspectives, get a different feel for how people are thinking. And I'll be honest with you, with the stuff that's going on right now, people are thinking, and they're thinking hard. We know that Donald Trump, in collaboration with Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, attacked Iran. Attacked Iran without any provocation. There was no imminent danger. Nonetheless, they claimed there was, and they attacked Iran. Now, let me explain to you something about Donald Trump. When he was trying to get elected president, he told us he would be the peace president. There would be no more new wars. But let me tell you what he's actually done. Since he's been in office, he's bombed 7 separate countries. He's starting a war with Iran. Oh, and there's the other part of it where he sent military into American cities. This guy is not only not the peace president, he's the absolute antithesis of this. He flat out lied to you. If you're a Trump-la-fuck, you know he lied to you. And I wonder how you feel about it now. We don't get too many Trump-la-fucks on this live, but occasionally they'll sneak through, and I'm kind of feeling like tearing one of you motherfuckers a new asshole because I'm getting tired of it. Tired of hearing from people who still support Donald Trump with all that's going on, with all that's happening. You know, with the way Donald Trump does business, you have to understand there are some other things going on that we got to remind ourselves of. First of all, the Epstein files. That just keeps getting worse and worse, and we can't afford to let that get out of the narrative. But there's also something else going on. There, of course, is the shutdown. Now, granted, it's only the DHS shutdown, but this has been happening for a while, and there's been no talk of getting it resolved. We're in a war with Iran right now, and I think if you were going to pick a fight with somebody, they'd be the last folks to do it. Because frankly, they're not like Venezuela. They're a big country, they're a powerful country, and they're a vindictive country. We open up ourselves to more terroristic attacks, and we have a national security system that ain't worth a shit. So we got some problems out there. Let's see who's showing up. Some of the regulars. We'll pull these folks up. All right. With us right now, we have TJ the plumber. We have Rebecca and Trucker T. TJ, how you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm all right, Mike. How are you?
I'm as good as can be expected. I'm 65 years old. The world is at war. I'm on the downside of life, and I'm trying to fix things for my grandkids. So other than that, it's pretty good.
Right. And you don't have to work.
Well, I am retired, but don't say I don't have to work. I mean, granted, it's not the kind of hard work that you do, but I got to tell you, putting up 10 TikToks and doing an hour and a half podcast every day, that's there's a certain amount of work involved in that, and having to watch what's going
around the
on all day.
grandkids.
Yeah, I haven't seen them today, but I see them enough where it gets pretty tiring when I see them. They are active little buggers. I saw Trucker T last night in a live, and Trucker was talking to me about this woman that's doing the live, and she sounded like she was kind of aligned with us as far as what she thinks. But as I watched her more and more, Trucker, I got to be honest with you, I think she was a con woman, or she was a little nuts because she didn't seem to know what the fuck she was talking about or why she was doing it. When she claimed to be a candidate for a congressional seat, and you asked her, who are you running against, and she didn't know, that troubled me.
Yeah, that threw me off. I wasn't expecting
What?
that answer. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
Yeah. So I don't know.
No.
Yeah, unless she's planning on running in like years from now. That doesn't make any kind of sense.
No, she was planning on running right now. Her whole platform was get money out of politics. And that's great. And I think that's a good plan, but there's got to be more to your substance than that. But the ironic thing is while she was saying get money out of politics, she needed to raise $1,700 so that she could get on the ballot.
What?
Fuck, man.
What?
Yeah.
How are you going to
You
get
said
on
it
a
wasn't
ballot?
$1,700 so she could pay her mortgage.
Yeah, she was in a live with 8 different people, with 8 people in the live, and she's pimping these people for $7 or whatever so she can reach her goal. Fuck that.
Yeah.
You know,
I-
that's
No.
I can tell you one thing for sure. If I was going to run for an office, I definitely know who the opponent was.
yeah, you would think that would make some sense. That would make some sense. Anyway, we don't need to talk about her. This war thing is starting to get a little crazy, and it's taking our attention off some of the other things, like I mentioned, the Epstein files. It's taken our attention off a shutdown that's currently happening with the Department of Homeland Security, which is a bad time for it, given the fact that we're at war now. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, I wouldn't call it a war. I'd call it an unlawful military action as a distraction.
Yeah, it absolutely is nothing more than a distraction. That's why we should call it the Epstein War, because the other reason why I think this is happening, and this takes me to another area that's troubling. I think one of the main reasons Donald Trump is doing this, first of all, a distraction from the Epstein files, but secondly, I think he's either being coerced or doing a solid for Benjamin Netanyahu. Saudi Arabia and Israel says, yeah, you really should do it. You really should do it. And Donald Trump goes, oh, I don't know. Maybe a double dog dare you. Okay, I'll go bomb the piss out of him. That's pretty much what Donald Trump is doing.
Well, my biggest issue with this whole war thing is the mismessaging, right? You've got some of them saying that we're not going to have boots on the ground. You got some of them saying it's not a regime change. Then you've got
Right.
other ones saying, hey, there was absolutely no attack imminent. And you got other ones saying they were 2 weeks away. Like, none of this seems planned and thought out.
No, and we're 2 days into this thing. After the first day, we were told 3 American military personnel were killed. This morning, it was announced another one was killed, so that was 4. And this evening, it's reported that there's 2 more. So in 2 days, we've had 6 Americans killed in a war that was started by Donald Trump unprovoked. 6 human beings who were here the other day and now gone, and their families have to put together funerals and explain to the children and the grandchildren or whoever it is that these people are no longer here, and then try to explain why they aren't here. And Donald Trump's response to something like this is, yeah, there are some American deaths. There's probably going to be more. That's the way it is. Man, he's a compassionate motherfucker, isn't he?
Yeah, he really is. And then you got Lindsay saying, hey, that's not our job to regime change. You know what I mean? It's not my job. It's not the president's job. And then you got Rubio saying, there may be a regime change. This whole thing is just goofy as all get out.
Yeah, and part of the problem here, not only for Donald Trump, but for the people around Donald Trump doesn't plan out or think about anything before he says it. He just says whatever he thinks is most effective at the moment. And now then everybody around him has to round up and try to figure out how to explain away how Donald Trump did or said something stupid. But I think people need to understand, and more people are finding it out in the media. He went into Iran, even though his Joint Chiefs of Staff said, don't do it. You don't have enough munitions. You have no allies. Don't do it. And of course, Donald Trump just went ahead and did it. And that's how he does things. I'm the smartest one in the room. I'm going to do it my way, assuming he's going to win. But every fucking time he loses.
Well, of course he does. And he's going to lose this one. You see what's going on in Tel Aviv right now? They're getting their ass handed to them.
Yeah.
I didn't even expect that one.
Well, it's not just Tel Aviv. We understand that the embassy in Saudi Arabia, U.S. embassy in Saudi Arabia, was hit. Several military installments, U.S. military installments, are being hit. They're bombing places in Dubai. You couldn't have foreseen that Iran would do this. For fuck's sake, read a book, learn history.
Yeah. Well, don't forget what Hegseth said today. He said that we didn't start the war, they did, but we're going to finish it.
Yeah, well, Iran's not stupid. They have technology, and they're running down Israel's defensive munitions right now. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, they are.
They're playing the long game because they know if they run down their munitions for their defense, they can bring out the big guns.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And unfortunately, when you've got Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth in charge, you don't have the best and the brightest. So the idea that they might get played by Iranian military wouldn't surprise me in the least. I'm going to pull somebody up here and see what they have to say. We've never pulled this person up, so we're taking a gamble here. Simply misunderstood. How you doing? What's on your mind? You there?
Hello.
Hello.
How you do? How you doing? What can we do for you?
Nothing. I was just listening to your opinions and your experience.
Okay. Well, it just showed that you requested to come up, but apparently you didn't.
No, I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. That's fine. That's fine. No problem. I'll take you down again, and we'll check with some other folks. We see that a lot. That some people inadvertently request up, and then they're surprised by it. All right, we'll take a. We got a couple of other. Oh, we did. Okay, we got a couple of other people we know, and they will show up if they pop on here. Okay, there he is. Will is with us. Will, how you doing?
Mike?
Last time we
Long
talked,
weekend.
you seemed, yeah, it is a long weekend. Last time we talked, you were a little annoyed. I'm guessing it hasn't gotten much better.
Oh my God! I mean, I was listening. That podcast we did was so dated in less
Yeah,
than a day.
yeah.
Oh my God!
That's kind of funny, though,
Yeah,
in a way.
but I
I was
called it.
listening to it and I was like, oh, if they only knew when
Yeah.
they did this.
Exactly.
But I called it, didn't I? 1 a.m. on a weekend. He's going to do
Yep.
it, and he did. 1
Yeah,
a.m. on a weekend.
It's always on a weekend. Every time I wake up on a Saturday, I'm like, oh, what the hell happened now?
Yeah, but the thing about you were talking about Marco Rubio and all the running around. Rubio is saying is that Israel told the U.S. that they were going to attack Iran. So they attacked Iran because Iran would attack us if Israel attacked them. So
Right.
it's ridiculous circular logic. But here's the thing. That happened under the Biden administration. Do you remember Israel bombed Iran? But
Right.
we set up a defensive perimeter around Israel, defended off all those missiles that night, and then reached out to the Iranians and said, you good? We're good. So it happened before. It's bullshit that they're feeding us, obviously.
Well, and if the premise is that we wanted to strike them first because they knew they were going to be striked from Israel, and if Israel strike them, then they would come after us. Okay, if that's the premise, and I think that's a little convoluted and a little stupid, maybe a better plan would be to call Israel on the phone and say, look, Benny, don't fucking do that. You're going to create a mess. This is America talking. We got a little leverage on it. If you want to keep
Yep.
getting your fucking money, keep your missiles on the fucking ground. We could have done
And
that,
that's-
saved some lives and a lot of hassle.
That's exactly what Biden did. And
Yeah.
the Iranians had to do their thing, so we let them do it, and diplomatically everyone shut up. The difference is that Benjamin Netanyahu did not own Joe Biden. Benjamin Netanyahu owns Donald Trump. He dog walked him into this. And what president ever starts, even the Bushes, start a war without addressing the American people? He has not addressed this live.
No one.
That act today he barely talked about what happened. He's pointing at the
Yeah.
drapes. And we have 6 men already injured who died in a
Dead.
trailer. Who died in a trailer that was hit. It was a temporary headquarters, and apparently at the Bahrain Air Force Base, no sirens went off. Nothing, no warnings.
Wow.
And to go with what you're saying, TJ, they're using drones, and drones get around the Iron Dome. That's
Yeah.
what they learned from the Ukrainians. They got 80,000 of these suckers.
Yeah.
That's what they're hitting is. They use the ballistic missiles as basically the distraction, and the drone fly in, and they can cause damage.
Well, we know that
And
we know that the Iranians are big on drones. They're the ones that are giving them to the Russians in that conflict in Ukraine.
So, and
and
Pete's technical term for what happened to those servicemen who perished was that they were hit by a quote unquote squirter. That's the
What?
term he used.
A what?
What?
it's
Squirter.
something that got through, something that squirted through the shield.
That's his
Oh,
technical
okay.
term he used.
It's, you know what? I can't. He dresses us as if it's a fucking Fox News segment,
The only
and
thing that's a squirter is the soda gun when they pour the Captain Morgan in his drink. That's the only
Yeah.
squirter that he knows about.
Well, there's a phrase I use when I refer to Pete Hegseth and his military, and I frequently call them the Apple Dumpling Gang. Now, you have to be of a certain age to understand that reference,
I'm
but
of
just
that age.
Google that shit. But the Apple Dumpling Gang, there were three F-15 fighters, U.S. F-15 fighters, shot down over Kuwait by Kuwait, who was supposed to be on our fucking side. We're shooting
oops.
down our own fucking planes.
Yeah, that's the
I
most
mean,
disorganized thing I've ever heard of. Like
and
I know there's friendly fire sometimes in conflicts, but that's 3 jets and what? They're like
yeah.
$23 million a piece. I mean, come on.
And Trucker, you're ex-military. Who goes into combat without a plan or rules of engagement?
You don't.
Heskett said there's no rules of engagement. We're not going to do this stuff. I'm going, what?
You know how many
No, what do you
recon
say?
missions I've been on, Will?
Wait,
You know how many reconnaissance missions I've been on
no,
for
sir.
for nothing, right? For nothing to come out of it. You know what I mean?
Yes,
So
sir.
Yeah.
for these guys to just wake up and say, well, hey, we're just going to start dropping them and let it fall where it may, all haphazardly. I just think it's just like my stomach hurts watching, right? So I'm
Yeah.
conflicted, to be honest with you. I'm very conflicted on it. I've got
And what?
the military side that's like, hey, our boys are really handling business. But then I've got the side that where our boys shouldn't be handling this particular business.
No.
Well, what Pete Hegseth actually said about rules of engagement, he said, and we're not going to do any of those stupid rules of engagement. Apparently, rules of engagement are off the table now, and I think that's an international thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and the thing, and also you have the Trump again has not addressed anything to the American people directly, but he talked to Jake Tapper and he talked to the New York Post and he talked to the New York Times. When he told the Post, they asked him, "Will you put boots on the ground?" And he said, "I don't have the yips about putting boots on the ground. We'll do it if we have to. I don't want to, but I'm willing to do that." Of course, you're willing to do that because it's not you.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, he doesn't really care about collateral damage. And if I'm a parent of a kid that's in active duty right now, I'd be pissed and I'd be nervous because not only are they send them into danger, they got no plan, no leadership, and that doesn't bode well for the outcome. I mean, I've said many times, Donald Trump will always fuck it up. The only problem here is I know he'll fuck it up, but this is a fucking war where people are dying, and a fuck up is going to be very expensive in terms of human lives.
Yeah, if I had an 18-year-old kid right now that wanted to go into military, I would be like, I will literally lock you in your room. Like, Like, there's no way I would let them go into the military at this point right now. No way.
Absolutely
And
not. Absolutely not.
and how did they not think that Iran would not hit their neighbors? They're going after the Saudi oil fields. They hit a refinery today. They went after hit Qatar's largest liquid natural gas station today. They have closed the Strait of Hormuz, basically. Um, how did they not think that this was going to happen? How are they going to explain the prices and everything going up? How they're clueless of the
Yeah,
repercussions what they did.
I can't wait till the Trumplefucks start crowing about how cheap gas is because that shit's going up very, very
Real,
quickly.
real soon.
I'm going to pull in Eric, analytical Iowan. Hey, Eric, how you doing? We're just talking about this war situation that's going on. We're going to talk about other stuff too because there's plenty of stuff to talk about. But what's your perception of what's going on with the war, the 6 deaths, the bombing that's
It's
spreading
6
all
now?
throughout the Middle East? How you feeling about it?
Well, I'm not surprised it happened. First of all, Donald Trump told us exactly that it would happen. Now, he
Yeah.
didn't realize he was telling us it would happen at the time, but remember during Obama's, I think it was his first term, he said the president will bomb Iran because of his poll numbers are bad, because he can't negotiate, and because he wants to show that he's strong. And I think the reason he blamed Obama or said Obama would do that at the time is because Donald Trump is like, that's exactly what I would do if I was president. He foreshadowed exactly what he would do. Here we are. He's trying to distract away from everything. There's no plan. And he hasn't talked to the American people. Not really. He half-heartedly kind of explained it away in a couple of interviews. One in which where they had the room lights dark. He's wearing a hat indoors, really low over his eyes, making you wonder if he's having trouble processing things in the light. Could be another sign of dementia. And then his dementia was on full display today. He's talking about Iran for a little bit. He turns, oh, look at my ballroom. It's a big hole out there. And here in a year and a
Melania
half, it's
doesn't
going to
like
be a
the
ballroom.
noise.
And I don't know if you noticed, if on the right side of his neck there's either a big rash or some kind of injury. It's bright red. It looks nasty. It's kind of pussy and stuff. And I was waiting for them to suggest that it's because he shakes hands too much. I suppose
No,
that
That
maybe Bubba's grips too hard because something's going on with his neck right there. I hope it's painful.
people in the medical field are suggesting that it's precancerous lesion treatment. That's their
Oh.
suggestion.
Lovely. I thought it was
Uh,
the alien worm that got into his body. That's the entry point.
Well, no, the worm is in RFK's brain, so it can't get.
Oh no, that's natural. I'm talking about the alien worm that came in and
Oh,
took over his body. All right.
Oh no,
because that's the
no,
only way to
he doesn't have a
explain
stake in his head.
his thinking.
No, let's not give him that much credit. But
Well, somebody
the whole thing with the
suggested it might be
rash,
some people say it might be shingles, and frankly, I think he's a little old to be getting shingles. That's more a little younger. Plus, there's so many vaccines out there for shingles. Why wouldn't Donald Trump have had the vaccine?
Actually, someone in the comments made a comment. It could be signs of syphilis, because later in life you do get those rashes.
You.
well, they are saying the White House officially is saying he's taking a treatment. It is a preventative lotion or something,
That's
and I
why.
call bullshit on that because if it
It's
was
already
a
there.
preventative lotion, well, if it was a preventative lotion and this was the reaction, you'd probably say that was an allergic reaction.
Yeah, that's a little weird. I'm going to bring somebody else
From
up
them.
here. I'm going to bring somebody else up from the crowd. Abigail Hart. Hey, Abigail, how you doing? What's on your mind?
Well, hello. I've never been in a live before.
Well, you're in one now, and the good thing is this is your first live.
Yes.
I can tell you from my experience, this is the coolest live ever. So you're lucky you're
Oh,
here, and we appreciate
yeah,
you showing up.
yeah. I've watched you a whole lot, and I share a lot of your views. In fact, most of your views are shared with me. And I'm down here in the middle of the red country, Mobile, Alabama.
Oh,
So
wow.
I'm amongst all of this mess down here. And I don't really discuss it much in Mobile. I'm afraid to, because people are so pro-Trump down here. So
Keep your mouth close to the mic because you're kind of going off, coming
sure,
off and on again.
sure,
Um,
yeah.
what's the climate down in Mobile, Alabama at this point with all that's going on? There's been a certain amount of exodus of Trump-a-fucks from Donald Trump. Are you noticing anything different down in Mobile, Alabama than what you saw when we were in the heat of Donald Trump when he was most popular?
It seems to have simmered down somewhat, but still, people are for him down here. Still got a lot of support down in Mobile. There's no doubt in my mind about that. Um, he's it's always been that way with Trump, and I don't know that they'll ever change, especially with all of these horrendous things that have come out about the orange turd. It's just
Right.
been horrible, 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 and I cannot believe that he has now waged what looks like might be World War III all by himself.
Yeah, he's making a yeoman's attempt. There's no question about it. Now, down in Mobile, I assume your family's down there. Do you have Trump-a-fucks in your family, and how does that work out?
And unfortunately, my one and only child over in Florida, in the Panhandle, she is for him, and I cannot even discuss Trump at all or any kind of politics with her because I'm to the point now that I'm going to raise the roof wherever I go. I've had it with it,
Yeah. Does your
So
daughter have kids? Does your
yeah,
daughter have kids?
she does. She has two, and I urge her to go and read the Epstein files. Just read a little bit of it, and her president is the one that's in those files. He has done,
Right.
and her children are one just turned 10 yesterday, and her little girl is 7. So it wouldn't take much reading to find out that this man is grotesque to the core. There's nothing good about him.
Well, and the
Nothing.
one thing I've noticed with people with families, especially if it's a daughter or son with kids, a lot of times these Trump humpers will hold the grandkids over the grandparents' head, you know?
Yes,
Well, if you're going to be an asshole, if you don't believe what I believe, you can't see the grandkids. Hopefully that's not
exactly.
happening, um,
They
but I
haven't
know
been
it
over in a
does.
long. They haven't been here in a long time. But I went over there at Christmas, and but it's going to be very limited until we get through this crisis with Trump. It's reached just astronomical proportions now. All of our lives are on the line now. It's major. It's worldwide. He said he was going to bring on a war because of these Epstein files. That's what's being brought on because it's
Yeah.
all because of Trump. Everything it's Trump. Everything bad that's happening in the United States and a lot in the world. He's bringing down the entire world with him because he doesn't want to go to jail.
Well, I don't even think it's jail. I think he probably believes he's safe because he's got this alleged immunity. As a
Yeah,
narcissist, what they're most afraid of is being
yeah.
embarrassed. And he's
Oh, really?
concerned about
Huh.
being embarrassed. I think he's probably getting pressure from other wealthy people too, because I think there's more than just the sexual abuse going on. I think it's
Yeah,
a business. I think there's a lot of money, a lot of other countries, a lot of other leaders. This is a
yeah.
big fucking mess.
He's
That's
he's
once it gets exposed, it's going to cause problems.
he's so far past the like jail thing now. Like that may have been why he ran to begin with, but
Yeah,
now he's making billions of dollars
yeah, yeah,
by grifting as a president.
yeah, yeah. I agree with that. Yeah, there's no doubt. There's no doubt that he's bringing in the money. I don't know where he's keeping it, but I think he's got it all over the world. I think he's got it everywhere, and these multi-billionaires that are in the Epstein files are all covering his ass right now. You know, they're covering him.
Well, they're
So
covering his ass because he's their only hope to cover their ass.
correct.
I mean, there's a lot of people that are wealthy and powerful that are pretty terrified right now and doing everything they can to keep this Epstein files shut down. We're seeing people in Europe, though, get resigning and getting fired and being prosecuted and stuff. It's just a matter of time that leaks over here and the DOJ can't help themselves. They've got to get involved to a certain extent. I think we got to get rid of Pam Bondi first. And that probably, we won't see any real action about investigations at the very least till after the midterms and maybe not till after 2028.
So what is the balance of Congress right now as far as the Senate and the House? Where do they stand as far as Republicans and Democrats?
Well, Eric can answer this better than anybody. Go ahead, Eric.
In the Senate, it's 53-47, 53 Republicans, 47 Democrats. In the House, it is 218 Republicans, 218 being the exact number needing for a majority. And there are 214 Democrats, 3 open seats, one of which is in Georgia for Marjorie Taylor Greene's former seat. That election is coming up here in like a week. I think it's next Tuesday. So the balance of power is very thin in Congress. The Senate could be in play in the midterms. The House, I think, is almost a guarantee to flip.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
And once we get that kind of a switch, it is going to make a big change because Donald Trump won't be able to just get anything done. There'll be investigations. There's going to be things trying to pass, and at least the Democrats will be able to make an attempt at getting something done.
Right, exactly. That's exactly what we need is to have some kind of guardrails for this man because he's just running all over the democracy. He's running us in the ground. He's taking our rights away as well. Very, very dangerous person.
And I've done this endlessly. I do this every day, and I'll do it again today. When this is all over and Donald Trump is no more one way or another, you're going to see the damage that's done, and people are going to be appalled by it. And you're going to want to hold somebody accountable. There is one group of people that is completely accountable in this situation, and that is every member of Congress, because every member of Congress could have stopped this from the beginning, but they chose not to. They chose to side with Donald Trump when it comes to going to war, to covering up the Epstein files, to in imposing tariffs, to lying to the people. Every Republican in Congress was on board to help him to do that. So we need to remember that when the elections come and after Donald Trump is gone.
Exactly. We definitely need to remember that, and we got to vote blue all the way down. Blue all the way down. I don't ever want to see another Republican elected during my lifetime, and I'm hoping that I don't see that again because they have ruined the entire. Trump has ruined the entire party. It's hard to find any of them that are any good at all.
Right.
So spineless.
I just want to answer somebody who's in the comments. It's Don DeCon, and anybody else that wants to answer this, they can too. He says, I'm a skeptic. Why would he start a war and risk losing the midterms? It doesn't add up. Well, it doesn't add up if we're talking about a normal human being. You're absolutely right about that. But you have to understand, Donald Trump only really cares about himself, his own particular situation. He doesn't think ahead real well. He's maybe not thinking about how badly the midterms, losing the midterms will affect him. He'll think he's got some super smart way to get around it. But for all intents and purposes, Donald Trump only is at a point where he's protecting himself. He doesn't care about the Republicans, and hopefully they have realized that. But he's protecting himself. He's not worried about the midterms right now. He's worried about right now, and trying to cover his ass with the Epstein files and trying to do something to get his popularity back. It isn't going to work, but Donald Trump isn't thinking about the midterms because he doesn't give a fuck about anything but himself.
Well, I think part of what it is with the midterms, he knows he's going to lose. Or if he doesn't know, he's terrified of what will happen if he loses. And remember, he was talking to Zelensky last year, and Ukraine's constitution is different than ours. In Ukraine, if there is a war going on, they do not hold elections. We do. And he's like, oh, there's a war going on, that means there's no elections. In his brain, he's thinking, oh, if I start this thing and I can keep it dragging on, I can end up making it so that midterms don't happen, and I can keep my majority in Congress.
Yeah.
He is all about he is terrified of the consequences that will come. He knows if he loses the House, he's done. And if he loses the Senate, that's the end of him getting anything else done as far as appointing anybody or doing anything. And there's a chance the Republicans turn on him and impeach him, or be willing to convict him anyway if the Democrats impeach him, if he costs them the House and the Senate.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Abigail, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it immensely. Feel free to stop in anytime we're doing a live. I'd love to hear from you.
Sure. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it for my first time.
And you did a fine job. So now you don't have to be worried about it in the future.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye-bye.
That is Abigail from Mobile, Alabama. Let's see who else is out
I want to
there.
respond
Go ahead,
real
Eric.
quick to Tommy. Yes, he says, so Eric or Mike, if he loses the midterms, how long would it take to impeach him? Could be, let's see, new Congress convenes January 3rd. Could be as soon as the 3rd or the 4th of January next year when the Democrats are in control. But something I've thrown out there that could happen. Now, this is a long shot, but the Republicans could say, we got nothing to lose here. We lost the House. We lost the Senate. We just got our asses kicked in the midterms. There's that 2-month window between the midterms and the new Congress where a bunch of Republicans may not have, a seat that they have nothing to lose. They're 2 months till the end of their job. They could all side with the Democrats and say, let's get this fucker out of here now. And it could happen after the midterms, and it could be quick.
Yeah.
Who knows? It could happen before that because things could get too far crazy, and they could say, okay, we have to do something.
Right. That's possible, but it seems unlikely.
Yes, it's unlikely, but it's possible.
What is this war? 21% approval right now, or maybe less?
Something like that. But once he loses them the midterms, they are going to end up looking ahead because they got to plan for a time after Trump. He can't run in 28. And their best hope, and it's not going to work, but their best hope is to have J.D. Vance as president with a Democratic-controlled Congress and going, well, see, J.D. couldn't do anything. The damn evil Democrats, they prevented him from doing anything to fix anything.
Yeah.
And somebody said in the comments, impeachment won't do anything. Normally, I would agree because we've impeached Trump twice already and the Republicans have saved him. But now he has nothing to gain them and everything to lose them. He could cost them elections for a generation.
Yeah, I mean, you see how bad it is right now in this country with a war, with the economy, with everything that's going on. Chances are between now and next November, it's going to get worse. So who knows where people's minds and heads are going to be. Republicans may be fed up at this point, may be tired of covering up for a dementia-filled fucking fool. I mean, it's ridiculous now, the things he's doing, but it's only going to get worse. And there will come a time when Republicans will have to cut bait.
Oh, yeah. And I want to also address, because this is one you and I both see a lot, and we talk about on the live. Two-Lane Blacktop says there will be no midterms. No, there's going to be midterms because there is no mechanism to hold this Congress over past January 3rd.
Yeah.
If they don't hold midterms, there is no Congress.
Right.
And there are things Donald Trump can't do without Congress. He can't spend money. He can't borrow money.
We had midterm elections during the Civil War, for Christ's sake.
Yes.
Yeah.
There will be midterms. Is Donald Trump going to try to fuck with them? Two-lane blacktop, no, there will not be martial law due to imminent threat. There is no mechanism in the United States for martial law. That means the military has taken over. And that would mean, if that happens, Congress again would probably impeach him. Republicans would say it's a bridge too far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Despite them being willing to bow to him to a certain extent, if he goes that far against the Constitution, I don't see very many of them siding with him.
No. The idea that there's not going to be midterms and there's going to be martial law, I keep hearing this over and over again. You're buying into the bullshit. Take a look at the facts. Federal government doesn't control the elections. It's the states. It's not going to happen. It's never happened. You're giving Donald Trump credit for being all powerful. He can do executive orders, but he can't do executive orders that force the states to do something different. That's just not how it works. I'm bringing somebody else up here, assuming they come up.
Hey, Mike, don't be afraid to bring somebody up because I got my finger on the trigger every time.
Oh, I'm not afraid to bring anybody up. I'm cool. Two-lane blacktop. Is that the guy you were talking to? I'm going to pull up Howard first. Howard's a safe bet. Hey, Howard, how are you doing? He is our regular guest on the podcast. He lives in western Minnesota, same state as me. It's a blue dot in a red area. Howard, what's on your mind?
Hey, I did some Googling in the last couple days, and one thing
I thought your wife
found
told
out
you to
there's
stop
more
doing that shit.
Democrats. What's that?
I thought your wife told you to stop doing that shit.
Oh. There's more Democrats taking AIPAC money than there are Republicans, and that's something we got to get stopped.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I haven't heard too much about, but if you follow the trail, first Trump went after Venezuela, and then we attacked Iran. Well, them two countries are the biggest exporters for oil to China. So is he trying to get a war started with China too? There's
I'm
so
thinking
many
they're going to
different
piss them
facets
off.
of this that people haven't checked out yet.
You mentioned AIPAC, and there's something I wanted to mention. I mentioned in a TikTok. People are talking about all the prospects for the Democratic nominee for the 2028 presidential election. Some people say Gavin Newsom, some say Kamala Harris. And with his arguments and his fights with Donald Trump, I thought, Mark Kelly might be a likely prospect to be a Democratic nominee. I don't know if he would be the best nominee, but he could be a nominee. And I thought, well, he's reasonable. He's a war hero. He's an astronaut. His wife, Gabby Gifford, had an attempt on her life while she was a representative. So, maybe he'd be a good guy. Then he comes out, and here's a guy who's a veteran, and suggests that he may vote against the War Powers Act, allowing Donald Trump to continue to do what he's doing, even though by way of the Constitution, he's not allowed to do it. But they're going to vote on it probably Wednesday. And it's whether or not to take the power away from Donald Trump. And he said, as a Democrat, as a veteran, yeah, I may vote against that so he can keep doing what he's doing. And then it comes out that it's likely that he's taking some AIPAC money. That pisses me off. He may be walking it back right now, but if he was willing to do that shit, I don't trust the motherfucker anymore.
I don't either, and he is on that list, and I'm not sitting at my desk. Otherwise, I could tell you how much money he's listed for, but it's quite a bit.
I heard it was like $500,000.
Yeah, 487,000 if I remember correctly. But there were so many names on there, Mike. And then there's otherwise, how much of that money can they track too? There's other ways they get that money to them too.
Well, as I understood it, Hakeem Jeffries has set up another funnel to bring the money in where it looks like it isn't coming from AIPAC. Yeah, it's pretty insidious what's going on, and that's one narrative we have to push real hard. If you take AIPAC, you don't get elected. Because here's the deal. Any other situation, if we knew that the vast majority of our members of Congress were getting money from a foreign country, any foreign country, that would come off as a security risk. The fact that it's Israel, they get away with it. And I still think it's a risk. I mean, we're in a war right now because Benny Netanyahu wanted Donald Trump to be in a war. It's problematic.
Or I think it's a big risk. And the other thing, and you mentioned this too in one of your TikToks, we give Israel 4.5 billion every year, and
Yeah,
Israel has free health care. You can buy upgrade, you can upgrade it over there, and that's just, I guess, did some reading on that, is so you can see some specialists quicker. And they say
yeah,
upgrading it's real reasonable. And the other thing they have over there is free education. Here we're
right.
dishing all this money out, and we don't get none of this. This is time that we got to put America first, because obviously Donald Trump never had any intentions of doing that.
No, if we send them 4 million, 10 billion, 20 billion, whatever it is we send Israel, I just have one simple question. What do we get in return? Because I don't see anything that we get in return. They just keep asking for more. Now, we continue to give Israel money, but we cut off U.S. aid, something that we benefited from and other people benefited from. It's absolutely ridiculous. If you're going to cut off U.S. aid, you might as well cut off Israel at this point. Because let's be honest, Israel's not a poor country. Israel can sustain itself.
Right. Well, Lindsey Graham says we get a 400 to 500, 4 to 500% return on our money. So where's that going?
My
Right?
ass.
He said that Sunday. So where the hell is it going?
Where is it coming from? I mean, he can
Exactly.
say that, but how explain how we're getting that? You just pull that out of your ass. That doesn't mean it's true.
Yeah, he
Because
was
Lindsay, I
talking
got
to
to be
the
honest, you have a
He he
tendency to lie.
he also said that our soldiers that die in the war over there will be dying honorably. So
yeah. That was the same
Yeah,
interview. That was the same interview where he was telling the lady that we get 400 to 500% return on our money. Why wouldn't we give Israel money? He says.
that's
I'd
bullshit.
like to see that. I think one of the things that they do with that money is they buy a lot of weapons from us, and of course they're buying our old weapons so we can make new weapons. But we spend a bigger budget on our weapons than the next 8 countries put together, and that's just
Yeah.
another form of the richer getting rich, because that's a lot of over budget shit that gets paid there too.
Yeah. Well, we give them
Yeah.
$4 billion a year, and they have universal health care, and we have nothing.
Yeah, and free education. Let's not
Yep.
forget that.
Yep.
And we're the richest country in the world. The whole thing is a scam, and the Democrats are at fault for it as much as the Republicans. And I'm getting tired of it. I'm hoping this breaks things open so much and exposes so much that we have a complete reset in Congress in terms of what politicians do, and that they find out they aren't going to get away from this shit anymore.
I agree. And they also get ABs on demand, by the way.
ABs.
Uh, abortions.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
yeah, Israel gets abortions on demand. I did read that today too. So they actually,
All right.
whether you guess that or not, that's women's rights there. They actually have some women's rights over there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Howard, thanks very much. I'm going to try to pull up as many people as I can. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, you can drop me down, Mike. Thank you.
All right, let me know when you want to come back on the
Mike,
show. You're always welcome.
Mike, TJ and I have a couple. They're not. I won't say feel good stories, but the stories that have happened that are either close to our heart or close to our area recently
Yeah,
that exemplify that people are really like standing up and standing out.
yeah, go ahead.
The first is there's two restaurants here that were supposed to host Scott Pressler. He's a lunatic right-wing activist.
Yeah.
And it ended up after about a week after them announcing that they were going to be at these restaurants, that both of the restaurants dropped out and said, we're not hosting them anymore. And
Nice.
their political reasoning behind it was that they said that they thought that their employees may be in danger from any backlash that may happen. And so but both of them dropped out and said and backed out of him being there. The second story is that I know you guys don't really follow punk rock music, but there's a big festival. It's called Punk in the Park. It's been around for a long time, and they've been doing a lot of like music like days and stuff, and like mostly like the Boston area and New York and things like that. They were supposed to do three big days in 2026. One was in Pittsburgh, one was in California, and one was in Orlando, Florida. And they found out that the promoter, the promotion company, the promotion company who was like running the show, the guy's name is Cameron Collins, owns this company called Brouhaha Productions. And he donated to the Trump Foundation, to the Trump campaign. And literally, like three really big bands dropped off the festival, and they ended up having
Dropkick Murphys dropped out.
Dropkick Murphys, the Addicts, which are a band from England, and who else was it? It was Dead Kennedys, dropped out because they refused to support anybody who supported Trump, and
they canceled the entire thing.
All three shows, and the shows are like they're literally like hundreds of thousands of people at each show, and that was like a huge stand up in our in the punk rock community for that.
Wow, that's impressive. TJ, somebody's asking about the stock market, and if anybody knows about it, it would be you. Gas prices are going up. How was the stock market today? Did it drop as expected?
I think he went to go look.
Oh, okay.
I can hear him talking. I think he dropped out.
I don't know how the stock market did.
TJ,
I saw something where
I can't hear you. TJ, you dropped. He's still talking. I can hear him downstairs talking. He's talking away. he does.
Hold on.
There you go.
Hello?
There we go.
Yeah. Hear you.
What the heck happened?
Don't know.
I don't know, TJ. We're just sitting here doing a show.
I picked up my phone, and then I hit the screen, and it dropped me out of the app. And then I picked it back up, and no one could hear me.
Yeah, they call that user error.
Yeah, well, you should be used to that, trucker. So, I mean, the stock market today was normal. It wasn't really like anything out of the ordinary. But, like, I expect that because of what's happening, and Eric talked about this a little while ago, about closing the Strait of
Hormuz, yeah.
Yeah, and so when they close that, and that's a big shipping corridor for products, particularly from either oil or China or whatever. All those things are going to affect oil prices, and not to mention the strikes that are going on refineries throughout the Middle East. Like, that's a big deal. So we're not feeling it really that much in the stock market right now, like as of today. But you can expect that probably 2-3 days from now, we're going to start seeing downward spirals.
Yeah.
20% of the world's crude oil and natural gas come through that strait.
Yeah.
Don't forget about fertilizer also. Fertilizer comes through there. Spring's coming up, so that's going to affect our food prices as well.
Yeah, of course.
Yep.
It's going to cause some problems.
And it's going to force them to figure out other shipping patterns and things, and it is going to be messy. You have Iran bombing now. We heard, what was it? Was it a Saudi Arabia oil refinery?
Yep.
Yep.
They're going after oil fields because it would make their oil production better. This whole thing is gonna blow up. And one of the first thoughts I had when I heard they closed the Strait of Hormuz was, now I'm not old enough to remember it, but I've seen the pictures and I've heard the stories of the rationing that happened for gasoline
Yep.
during Carter. First thing I thought of.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's gonna be a worldwide effect, not just the United States, of course. And
Yeah.
so, when they close this, and I actually heard the message that they sent out. The Iranians sent out a message and said, "The strait is closed. No ships can, traverse the strait." Like, that is going to be devastating right now. And actually, I'm surprised that Russia's not worried about it, because Russia gets a lot of oil from the Iranians. So it remains to be seen.
I was in
Well,
a
China
live-
does too.
Oh yeah, China and Russia both get oil from there, and now I don't know what that's going to do there. But I was in a live listening to somebody else, and I can't remember who it was now, but threw it out as a suggestion. Said, what if Iran, Russia, and China all come together on this deal, and what if Iran or Russia decides to push into Eastern Europe, and China goes after Taiwan? We'll be
yeah.
too far stretched. We won't be able to defend all that area. We don't have any allies left. It could happen.
There's
It could.
other things that could happen too. Is that the Iranians could say, "We're going to allow tankers to leave the strait that go to China and Russia and North Korea or wherever they want them to go, but not anywhere else."
Right.
You might want to think. You might have want to thought about that beforehand. But Donald Trump's not too good with looking ahead. He doesn't
Right.
look beyond the end of his
Well,
nose, and he always fucks up.
yeah, that's normal.
Yeah. I'm going to pull up Jazzy if she's joining us. I don't think she's coming up. Let's try somebody else here. Let's try this. Tisha. Hey, Tisha. You're with us now. What's on your mind?
It's been a minute. I was just thinking about what y'all was saying, and don't you think them guys have already thought about it and have stockpiled those particular resources because they know how to play chess, and Trump plays checkers?
Very well could.
I think you give Trump a little too much credit for playing checkers. I think it's more like Uncle Wiggly or Candyland is what he's playing.
Play with crayons.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
but did y'all hear when I was listening to Rachel Meadows and what Cash Patel did with all of those particular FBI agents that were specialized in the field of Iranian espionage, and he fired them all?
Yeah.
I hadn't heard
Now
that.
what he got? And
Yeah,
these
I did hear
people
that
were
too.
specialized. They were even better than the Russians at unaliving people. They were very, very good at it. So it's just a big mess. I mean, y'all could probably be a better team than Trump team. It's just a big mess.
Yeah, it is a big mess, and everything they do puts us more in a vulnerable
Yeah.
situation. Like you said, Iran
Yeah.
is, when it comes to attacking people or going after people, Iran is pretty good at it. They're not
Yeah,
some little
very
country
good.
that has no power. I think Donald Trump thought he would go in, bomb the piss out of them, and then say, "Now you guys change the regime. It's up to you guys now." I think that's all he thought he had to do. But once again, he was wrong. In spite of his Joint Chiefs of Staff telling him not to do it, he went ahead and did it, and he fucked up again.
Right, and see, most Muslim countries, a lot of people don't realize it. They have religious law, and they're willing to do kamikaze to meet Allah. So they are willing to unalive themselves for a cause, for a bigger cause than themselves. And that's
Yeah.
what Trump don't realize. He don't realize that.
No, he really doesn't. He thinks he's all powerful and everybody's afraid of him. He's going to find out soon enough that
Yeah,
that's not the case. We're not the
right.
biggest lion in the jungle, especially when you get a bunch of them together and they all go against us. If he's pissing off China and Russia and all of Europe, the
Yeah,
Joint Chiefs of Staff was right. We have no allies, and we kind of need allies since we're low on
yeah,
munitions and kind of spread thin. But Donald Trump doesn't think about that. He's more concerned about distracting from the Epstein files and trying to do something to make him look powerful. And
right.
he's not going to accomplish either.
And then our ships are going to be dead in the water for not being able to get any oil. Dead in the water, big tankers in the water, not being able to get a fuel. Man, what a
Yeah.
mess. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Tisha. I appreciate you coming on. Feel free to come back anytime.
I will. Love you.
Love you too. Thank you very
I
much.
I just want to correct
Yeah.
one thing about that is that some of the
Yeah.
ships are nuclear, so they don't need refueled. So even though that there may be an issue there, it's not going to affect the mobility of our Navy.
Well, that's good. But we're still not in a good position there. I mean, Donald Trump has put us in a bad position, and we know that he has the capability of fucking up every time. It's one thing to do some of the things he's done, but when we're at war, essentially at war, the potential danger and the vulnerability of this country is just way over the top, and it is kind of frightening. I understand why people are afraid at this point. Let's bring somebody else up here. I believe this is A. Hassan or Hassan. How you doing? What's on your mind? Apparently nothing. Apparently nothing. Let's try somebody else here and see who's available. We can call up Oliver's mom. She is a frequent guest. We know she's got plenty on her mind. Hey, Oliver's mom, how you doing? What's up?
All right, pretty good. I'm just going to start with the lines for the fuel back in the 70s. I can remember
Mm-hmm.
those, the odd days, the even days, all
I
that
do
kind of
too.
stuff. Yep.
That
And
that
I
happened
used,
during Hurricane Sandy in New Jersey. That's
yeah,
how Chris Christie. That's what he did. He
yeah.
did the
Well,
Alameda.
I used to sit in the back seat of my mother's car and do my homework while we were sitting in the lines because that's, you had to go when you had to go to get your gas.
Yep.
Yeah. But, talking about all this oil situation, we're going to have trouble selling our oil out because people aren't going to want to buy it. And then
Right.
the thing of it is, we're going to have a hard time buying what we need. We are not energy independent. We need the type of oil that can be put through our refineries because our refineries don't take the type of oil that we pump out of the ground. And it's going to make it really hard on us because it's messing with what we're going to need for our own production.
Hey Kim, and guess where we can get that from?
Where
We get it. We can get it from Canada. Imagine that.
we can, yes, because that
Except for
pipeline up there that comes all the way down is
mhm.
not bringing U.S. oil. It's bringing oil to Mexico and stuff like that. It's not our oil.
Well,
Right.
I can't wait for them to negotiate with Trump over that oil.
the Keystone pipeline brings tar sand oil, which is a horrible grade of oil
Mm-hmm.
that can't really be refined in the United States. So it
Yep.
goes from Canada through the United States in the Keystone pipeline out to the Gulf Coast to be shipped overseas
Yep.
to be refined.
Yep. Yeah, it's not ours.
No, it's not our oil. No.
Yep. And, that pipeline's a mess anyway. It breaks down all the time. the XL, or the one that they were going to put in further west, that was a disaster. They were trying to bring that through Native American land, and they flipped out.
Right.
Said no way. So, but yeah, we're gonna see gas prices go up. We're gonna have a hard time getting what we need for our refineries. I mean, he just screwed himself, and he doesn't even realize it.
As we say all the time, Donald Trump fails at everything he does, and everything he touches dies.
Yep. And then,
Well,
have y'all talked about the school?
no, go ahead.
The school that was hit in Iran. That had
Oh, the girls' school. Yeah.
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 I mean, and the MAGA just says, "Oh, that's collateral damage." I
Yeah.
mean,
It's not.
oh no, it's not. But that's what they say. I've heard several of them say that.
Well, Kim,
That's yeah.
so with that being collateral damage, that's why a memo came out today to all the military personnel not to wear your uniforms off base,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, yeah, so much for your collateral damage. They're running
Right.
scared now.
Right. And I also heard, and I've fact checked it a little bit, his speech that he did after that happened at like 4:00 in the morning. From what I understand, that was pre-recorded.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was pre-recorded because, so he was expecting it. He knew it was going to happen. So he pre-recorded a speech to put out there because he can't speak that early in the morning, for one thing.
No. I heard
Prime
somebody
sundown
suggest
time.
I heard somebody suggest something that now I forgot what the fuck I was going to say. There's all kinds of excuses out there from the Trump administration. Somebody mentioned Rubio. Rubio tried to explain that the reason they did it because there was imminent danger, and that imminent danger came from the fact that they knew Israel was going to bomb Iran. They assumed if Iran got bombed, then they would bomb us. That's quite a stretch. And there were other alternatives out there to deal with it, like just telling Israel to knock that shit off. But I'm trying to think of what I was thinking about. I can't.
Were you
I'll
thinking
get it in a
about
minute.
Iran supposedly bombing the girls' school? Is that where you were going?
No,
No,
Israel
no,
bombed the
no.
girls' school.
No,
Yeah,
I get that.
I
I
think
just
it was.
thought Mike was going there.
You
Oh,
thought it
that,
might be like a false flag or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I didn't think that. I think Iran is too busy bombing everybody else in the Middle East without having to pull that kind of stuff. I don't think Iran is. I think some people in Iran are at a point where now they are kind of giddy about this because they get a chance to show their power, and they get to hit a lot of people they maybe wanted to hit but didn't because because the Americans held them back, and now they figure it's a free for all right now.
Well,
They sure is.
yeah, did I hear that Israel's also hitting Lebanon?
No, yeah, they could be because I heard that Hezbollah has entered into this, and they've been firing missiles from Lebanon into Israel. So it's conceivable that Israel is shooting back at Lebanon. This is spreading like fucking COVID, is what it's doing.
Well, Hezbollah said that one of the, and I don't know if this is true or not, because so much shit is out there, right? They said that some munition struck by one of their missiles, which triggered them to go off, and they didn't actually do it. I don't know if I believe that or not, but no more than they said that they taken out the leader of Israel, right? There's so much shit out there. It's so hard to believe anything nowadays.
Oh, come on, Trucker T. You can trust Hezbollah. If you can't trust Hezbollah, who can you trust?
Exactly.
Fact
You
is,
know
I'd
what?
probably trust them more than I'd trust Donald Trump.
Yeah, you joke about that, but I trust Hezbollah more than I trust Donald Trump.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Saying something.
Yeah, it's yeah, fuck. Let me see who else is out there, and let's see. Well, British John is out
John's
there.
there.
He's a little early.
Yeah. Mike, I also saw a memo where they said the C5s and up are prohibited from drinking alcohol until further notice. That's going to go over real well.
Yeah, that'll go over real well. And does that mean Hegseth can't get a bump?
Well, he's C5 and above, so yeah.
He wasn't supposed to be drinking anyway. Wasn't that part of why he agreed to get the job?
Yeah, but he doesn't
Yeah, he
drink,
was.
Eric. What do you mean?
Right. The DUI hire doesn't drink. And
Yeah.
I've got a full head of hair. Come on now.
Yeah, I don't think he said what he wasn't going to drink, so maybe it's just water,
Yeah, we have Don Spencer up with us now. Hey, Don, what's up? What's on your mind?
Hey, I'll just listen. I
What's
apologize.
that?
I wasn't trying to log in. I wasn't trying to log in. I was just listening. I'm sorry about that.
Oh,
He
no,
hit the
no,
wrong
no
button.
problem. Don't worry about that. Got some shy folks out there. Let's try this one. He is a recent guest, so I'm assuming he's open to it. Gary Grack. Gary, how you doing? What's on your mind?
Gary.
Gary. Hello, Gary.
Come
Gary.
on, Gary.
What the fuck, Gary?
Rookie.
Hey,
Really?
hey, I'm here.
We didn't
Hey.
interrupt anything, did we?
No, it's I just nodded off there for a minute.
All right.
Here's what I have to say today. What the fuck is the end game in Iran? What is the end game? There is no plan. We all know it. He said 5 weeks we'll be out of there, maybe a little bit longer, depending upon how do you want to take the over or the under on that bet? Huh? Unbelievable.
You guys saw the Charlie Kirk post, I'm sure, right? The viral Charlie Kirk post about how Charlie Kirk even said what's going to happen? We're going to go in and we're going to kill the Ayatollah, and what are we going to do next? And basically calling out exactly what happened.
Yeah. Disgusting. What's
It's
next?
pretty frustrating. I don't think there is any end game. I don't think there was any plan or strategy. His own people told him not to do it, and he said, fuck it, I'm going to do it. It was a reactionary concept. It's all emotional with Donald Trump. That's how he does everything. He says whatever comes into his mind. If you tell him you can't do it or shouldn't do it, then he's definitely doing it. We're dealing with an incorrigible child here is what we're doing.
He said, Lindsey Graham said that in the conversations with the great orange man that Cuba's next. Let's take it. We want it. It's Cuba's next, he says. How about that shit?
Whatever happened to Greenland? Did we give up on Greenland?
Well, what's going on with Venezuela? I mean, you got Maduro, and then what's going on there?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Not a damn thing.
No one's looking at the files. That's what it's all about.
Right.
Well, I think some people have suggested that Donald Trump will do something like with Iran, get bored with it and move on to something else, but he'll leave the mess behind or the continuing problems. And Donald Trump says, I don't get bored. I won't get bored. I'm going to stick with this. No, you're not, Donnie. You're like an ADD kid. You can't keep focused on anything. I mean, you're given a speech about the Iranian incident, the Iranian situation, and you drift off into talking about drapes. Fuck.
Or statues. Did you see him get off Marine One?
Drapes, statues, and Melania. It does not like the noise.
Don't even talk about fucking Melania. That's a whole nother thing. Her and the United Nations or whatever the fuck she's doing today. United something, whatever.
Vincent from Canada says Miller's wife is posting the U.S. should invade Canada and Greenland. Yeah, that's a brilliant idea, you stupid bitch.
Please try to invade Canada. Let's do it.
Yeah, try it. Hey, those county mountains don't play.
I can't imagine a nice stay-at-home night with Stephen Miller and that freak of a wife. That's got to be just fucking surreal.
Hey,
I
Mike,
don't know which one is worse.
He said that he was a machine. I'm just putting it out there.
Stephen Miller did?
His wife did, yes. He said he was a sex machine.
Yeah, he's a CPAC machine.
He looks like that guy that was on Bart Simpson. Smithers, who was the guy? The big the factory owner in the
Mr.
cartoon.
Burns.
Yes,
Mr.
Mr.
Burns.
Yeah.
Burns. That's who
Yeah.
Stephen Miller reminds me of. Is Mr. Burns.
Yeah.
Excellent.
He's a fucked up guy. There's no question about it. Gary, thanks for coming on. I'm going to get some more people up here. I
Absolutely. See
appreciate
you
it.
guys.
Bye, Gary.
All right. See you later.
What sense does it make to go after Canada, the country that looks at the Geneva Convention as a checklist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No shit.
Right.
Yeah. Donald Trump and the Trump-lefucks are going to get a lot of people killed. I'm tired of listening to Lindsey Graham. He wants to go into all these countries and start wars, and this chicken motherfucker can't even come out of the closet. So
Hey,
I
there's
don't listen.
a legit comment. Isn't Musk tapping Miller's wife? Yes, he is.
I hadn't heard that, but
Oh, we heard it.
Yeah, just goes to show
I
that
don't know which one I should feel more sorry for.
Yeah, I would think there might be some legal illegalities about those two consummating. That's
Mike,
that's like thinking of your grandparents having sex. Who wants to think about that?
Mike, just FYI, British John has to bail in 15 minutes.
Oh, now he's putting me on a fucking schedule. All right,
Yeah.
I got a live restrictor for some audience. All right, British John.
Hi, John.
British John comes on and says, "Oh, look at the time. I need to hurry. Let's go, British John. Let's."
First of all, it's our anniversary. This is the 1 year anniversary of the first time you had me on.
Oh, really?
I know because TikTok just told me a few minutes ago. I got a big thing come up and asked if I wanted to give you money.
Yeah, and
I'm
it's the first time we got taken down too.
that is also true. I thought you might bring that up.
And as soon as I pulled you up, I got a live restriction. So thanks for the
I haven't
gift.
said anything. I haven't even. Let's get it out of the way. Let's show some. We are not doing any jokes tonight about Jay's mom. We're not doing it. Okay. What we have seen in the past 48 hours is that the Ayatollah took fewer loads to the face, and he didn't survive. I'm just saying she can.
God.
She took more explosions than he did, and she's still here. So, as a measure of respect, no jokes about Jay's mom tonight, please, ladies and gentlemen. That is.
Yeah. Well, thanks for your discretion.
Thank you. I knew you'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
And to everybody out there who messaged me, you have no idea how hard I work on that one joke every week. It's all I do. It's just come up that one joke about Jay's mom. For reasons that no one...
Jay really appreciates it.
No one even knows why anymore. That's no longer important. All right, let me be John, former intelligence officer, just for a minute, boys and girls. Don't be. I heard the word scared. There is nothing to be scared of. Be concerned, be angry. Do not be scared, because when you're scared, you make poor decisions. Scared is not a place to make judgment calls. The only person who is scared right now is the tiny man in the big white building. Okay, he is the only person that is scared. And also, if I may also say, the people who didn't have a choice, the people who signed up to serve their country, they have the right to be scared. That is not in their training, but as human beings, you can't stop a missile. Okay, you hope the Patriot missile will do its job, but if it can't, your face, unlike Jay's mom, will not get in the way of the bad stuff that's coming. So, just please think of them this evening. And if there is a Trump hotel in the Middle East, please tag it on Instagram and make sure you put hashtag Hezbollah. It's here. So just one of the things. Hezbollah and the Republicans do have a lot in common, don't have a huge amount in common. One thing they don't is that Hezbollah does actually run social programs. Just a small thing. They do actually take responsibility for feeding their people. Just a mind. I am not pro Hezbollah. I want to be clear about that. My brother lives in Lebanon. He actually has to pay what you might call protection money. Some call it a tax
Wow.
for the privilege of living there. Yeah, it's an actual thing, but that's the cost of being a Christian, being married to a Christian in Lebanon. But no, this is like I have to be careful with this one because this kind of has career limiting opportunities for me. What we're seeing right now is Trump playing the part, and let me say beautifully. He may not get a Peace Prize, but he may get an Academy for the role of useful idiot.
Yeah.
Benjamin Netanyahu has the same issues as Trump does, but with less paperwork, certainly fewer files, but equal amounts of criminality. And this is what he wanted. And he's like, what can I get you for your birthday? And he was like, well, 2 carriers, 35,000 troops, couple of cruise missile destroyers. That'd be lovely. And Trump was like, I was going to get you some of the pictures from Jeffrey's email, but sure, that's what you want. You can have it. That's assuming that Bibi doesn't have it already, because Mossad is. By the way, if anybody has the files, it's Mossad. Let me be clear. Those boys are good. I know. I trained with them. I know how good they are at this. They're better than the Russians, and they hold their promises.
Assuming they maybe had some of those files, might that have been an inducement for Donald Trump to do what Benny Netanyahu wants him to do?
No, this was Trump is in so many pockets. You go right now. Trump is building legacy. His board of peace, remember, because the UN wasn't doing its job, so it's going to be done by private individuals that he controls.
Right.
That's him and Benny. I mean, this is literally pay for play. I am sure that all the people, when you're next year, when you're at the Trump ballroom, sitting at the table sponsored by Raytheon, Boeing, and Lockheed, they'll say, you know what? We didn't think it was a good idea, but we did have a warehouse full of weapons going nowhere. The military-industrial complex is absolutely 100% behind this, as it should be.
Got a question for you, British John. One of the things that we know about this thing, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, his own Bobos, said don't do this. And they said don't do this because they have limited munitions and they have no allies. Do you think that's all true? We have limited munitions that we may run out sometime soon?
So first of all, there's 2 points, there's 2 elements to this, and here's what I will commit, boys and girls. Follow me. Go to my Substack. I'm running some reports right now, and I will answer this question with numbers much later tonight, Mike. But let me tell you how America's defense system works. America is ready for 2 World War II conflicts on either side of the country at any time. That is how we are staffed, and the amount of material that we carry to fight 2 World War II functions, one in the Pacific, one in the Atlantic, at all times. So we don't have a shortage of offensive munitions. That would be shells, missiles, tomahawks, and the like. Trust me, Boeing would never forgive themselves if we ran out of those. However, what we do have a shortage of is defensive munitions. So that's Patriot missiles. Yes, you see, those things are both big and expensive. And we don't have a huge number of them. Now, you also have to understand that Patriot is a system. It's not just the thing you see flying through the air. And what we don't have, which Israel does have, is we don't have Baby Patriot, which can take out drones. We have to decide what we're going to take out. We have software that helps us identify what is the target, what is its lethality, its speed, closing, yada, yada, yada. We are building laser capability. We don't have laser capability. We have it in testing. We don't have it in the field, whereas Israel has it in the field. So that's the shortage that we face is in defensive munitions. And it's important to understand that because America doesn't actually need many. I don't know if you've noticed, but we have the Pacific on one side, the Atlantic on the other, Mexico, not really a big risk right now, unless they cut off the guacamole supply.
Yeah.
And as I'm sure you're familiar, the massive problems we have with illegal and dangerous, violent immigrants from Canada, namely
Yeah.
the geese and what they're doing to my lawn, that is best dealt with 12 gauges.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Um,
somebody asked something earlier, and I'm just curious if you have an answer to this. Donald Trump goes into Iran with Israel. What's the end game? What does he hope to accomplish with this? Or does he just not have a plan and he's just reacting?
That's a great question, not one that Trump would have thought about. It has to
No.
be said. Look, you cannot change. We've demonstrated this time and time again. You cannot change the leadership of a country through bombing. You just can't. It's not that we haven't tried with the first two Gulf Wars, Libya, Kosovo, Bosnia, Yugoslavia, Kosovo. Horn of Africa, I believe we may have tried that briefly. Unfortunately, the creation of any form of democracy requires peacekeepers. Peacekeepers, these boots on the ground. And there is no way on hell's earth that, how do I put this delicately, a Republican president, and by the way, I would not classify Trump as one,
No.
is willing to put American boots on the ground in the Middle East beyond a very limited engagement, what I would call training, as opposed to, actual police and marshalling. And when you look at remember this is Iraq's neighbor. By the way, one thing I haven't heard anybody talking about, which is interesting. Does everybody realize that at this point the Iranian government actually is actually responsible for 3/4 of Iraq's government? Is anybody aware of that? The whole Shia Sunni allegiance. Okay, so boys and girls, quick thing for you. There are two forms of Islam, and I know I'm not going to get this right, boys and girls, in the comments. Okay, you don't have to correct me. I know the limits of my ignorance. But you have Shia and you have Sunni, and when we went in and we destroyed the Ba'athist regime of Saddam Hussein, that was the Sunni. And a lot of those people are no longer of this planet, or they left the country because the Shia. You remember when they had the internal wars after we said, we'll let them settle it out, we'll let them establish a parliamentary system, and da-da-da. Yeah, well, that was
Right.
Shia, which is backed by Iran. They are now responsible for huge swathes of municipal territory in Iraq. It's still Iraq, but they take their orders from Iran. So there's a whole clusterfuck coming from that sometime in the news frame. I would not like to be in Jalalabad tonight, because it's kind of a hotbed of it. So it is a. Does he have a plan? No, he's hoping that someone is going to come up from probably a university professor or something like that, who is going to come up and create a semi-secular society, a version of democracy. It's unlikely to happen because the sheer volume of weapons you already have in the country, in the hands of civilians and what's left of the army, is going to just create more civil war. And let me be clear about this, and I did actually publish a report on this. Iran's government, in its municipal government, were executing people by the thousands, just 2.5, 3 weeks ago. They were already losing control. The only hope we have, and again, I'd welcome to hear. I'm leaving the Kurds out of this one, my friend, and I actually spent time with the Kurds. I'm leaving them out because of very interesting reasons. They will have their own place if Turkey doesn't fuck it up. There's a whole NATO problem. But the people I know who do have a plan is Israel. They have so much human intelligence in Iran. I'd say Trump has stolen it. You wouldn't believe it, but it's true. They actually have, as I understand it, and I haven't had this from my intel friends, but friends of friends have said, Israel actually had boots on the ground in the defense building to verify that the Ayatollah was unalive. That was actually done by the Israeli version of the Deltas. They actually got into the basement and da 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 da. So
Wow.
if anybody, after the bombing that we did last time, we should talk about that with the B-2 Spirits and the nuclear facilities. It was, that was at the behest of Israel. Here's what's interesting. Tulsi Gabbard and her friends and the entire American intelligence system has never confirmed the destruction of the nuclear facilities that got bombed. You'll notice Trump said it, Hegseth said it, but
Right.
you'll notice that nobody from an intelligence agency ever said it. And that's because they won't lie. They by the way, they won't tell the truth either, but they will not lie. There is a different, we have our own rules in my world. And so because of that, there was nobody to stop him this time. Like, if you won already, why do you need to do it again? But when we did that, and then Israel went in with the 35s and the 22s, the whole Hegseth thing, it was Israeli human intelligence and agents that took out so much of the ground radar installations and missile sites. It is that their operational infrastructure in Iran was phenomenal. Like, just, you might not like them, but dear God, they invested heavy in human intelligence. That's why they were able to do the thing with the pages as well. Again, human intelligence. They invest heavily. We don't do that. We believe in satellites and Elon Musk. That is how we do intelligence. We don't want to get too close, but we do want it in 4K.
How much trouble is Elon Musk in Europe as they're investigating his influence in elections? Is he safe because he's rich and powerful, or is he in trouble?
He'd be in trouble with Elon Musk could be in trouble with his shareholders before he's in trouble with the law. That's fair to say, because it'll be the destruction of value in Tesla that comes for Elon, not regulators. They'll find Twitter. They will they'll mess with him in those kind of ways. But remember, Elon's got a day job he doesn't do too often, which is really the one that actually makes money is Tesla. He and it's the brand has been tarnished. He's made a little bit of a comeback. Actually, I was in Palo Alto tonight. There was a massive event going on across the road from the Tesla headquarters in Palo Alto. There was 100 Cybertrucks all lined up in a row because they're selling so well. They now use them as party favors.
Yeah. No shit.
So, John, I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you think it's true that Iran did shoot off their older missiles, as you call them, just to get rid of them, and then now they're bringing out these hypersonic bad boys? Is that true, or is that just hyperbole?
No, I think what happened is that we destroyed the command and control system, not just the people, but the infrastructure as well. And so everything, all the stuff that was in the field on mobile launchers went to local control. And I'm not being funny. Somebody who had to go into Google Maps, get a GPS thing, and put it on and manually load it into the missile because the links are all down. It's just all gone to local control. We know where the munitions are. This is one of the things that's why it was such a huge. This was World War II. This was Dresden.
Yeah.
The amount of ordnance that was dropped in those 48 hours was unbelievable. I mean, we haven't done stuff like that since Vietnam.
Right.
And the reason being is we know where that stuff is, and we have the ordnance that can get into the bunkers to destroy it. Did we get it all? Hard to say. We'll find out very quickly. But no, they haven't got special weapons. This isn't Germany in 1949 with their last weapons and their V2 rockets versus the V1 buzzers. I mean, this is a country that was economically on its knees, that was selling off the furniture and doing favors with North Korea and Russia, just to feed its people. Well, do they have secret weapons? Special? I'd be worried about them having chemical weapons. I'd be worried about them, putting chemical weapons on an Iranian scud. I forget what the name of an Iranian scud is now. Kroshik, and sending that to Tel Aviv. But they'd intercept that the same way. The Israeli system, 3 layers deep, would intercept that the same way. They're going to go for, people say, why are they going for the hotels? Because it's better because the hotel doesn't have a defense system. That's why.
Right.
Exactly.
Air bases have weaponry. Air bases have defensive systems. Hotels do not. Hotels are full of soft targets. And look, this is a horrible thing to say. Okay. My last scars on my right side of my body, because I didn't know what unexploded ordnance was that particular day, or the Russian for it, was in a school. They would not have targeted, I will say this right now, Americans would not have targeted that school as a school. Okay, let me be. I can't use his name, but I have been a good friends with, and I've written for, spent time with senior members of the intelligence communities, and we don't do that. We just don't do that. Now, could it be that Iran had command and control people in that location? Yes, that can happen. But the Americans would not target a school. A school may have been under the target. That is horrible. Was the timing of the attack?
We know Israel would do it, though, based on what we saw in Gaza.
I'm very confident in the things I am saying, and the things I'm not saying for a reason.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm saying America would not do that because there's a level of accountability that exists, and if you don't believe me, oh God, I've just forgotten her name now. The young lady, the trans young lady that was in Chelsea. Chelsea Manning is the reason, boys and girls. Okay. Yes, we hold people to account, whether we like it or not, whichever side they're on.
Right.
Yeah, sorry. Not too many jokes tonight, I know, boys and girls. It's really not been that kind of week.
No, it absolutely hasn't. And I know you got to run because you said you had 15 minutes, and I got to wrap things up here. But thank you, John, for joining us and educating us a bit. It's good to talk to somebody who has some actual experience with this as opposed to complete conjecture.
I will. So for those of you still here, God bless you for not all leaving. I will, in the next 48 hours, if you follow me, you can see a link on my thing, my Substack. I will be producing a number of papers on what is happening in Iran with the data coming from non-American intelligence agencies. That is what I do, is I collect intelligence from non-Americans to tell you what's going on that's not being reported on. That's how I had the information about the people being executed there. And I will do the same. If you know about my medical issue, I'm just coming back from an MRI. So hopefully I'm being fixed, but I will do that. And I'll leave you with this, Mike. I put a video about it this morning. The Iranian people have been through hell already, and we put them through it. And by that I mean the British. Okay, the Shah was a bad idea.
Yeah,
the Shah was a puppet of the British Petroleum Company. That's what BP stands for, boys and girls. That was what we were famous for. And the fact that they've taken out the Ayatollah means nothing, because this isn't the Ayatollah. The Ayatollah has not been known since the 9th century, the 12th Imam, who was spirited away. Trump will never get his head around this. There is no such thing as succession for these people. There is just continuation.
Right.
Trump cannot get his head around that. He only thinks of succession, and he doesn't care if it's not him. This is a people that need care, that need love, that need investment. The students of Iran, I've had the privilege of meeting a good number over the years. These are some of the best brains in the world. We need these brains. They are going to propel the next generation. They are not Fox News is not real, boys and girls, okay? Not everybody is a fundamentalist. You're not going to believe this, but 99.9% of people want a better world for their kids, materially, not spiritually. And is it going to happen with Trump? No idea. What we do know is he's making sure that he has shit the bed. Well, I mean, we know he does it every night, but he is going to shit the bed politically, economically, militarily for the next 6 years. This is the legacy he is passing on to hopefully the next not Republican president and Senate and House. Okay, this is boys and girls. It's important that you vote because
Yeah.
this is the consequence. Remember, Trump didn't win. Kamala and Biden lost because people didn't turn up.
Exactly.
This is how you solve that problem. One of my friends, Mr. Intel, is somewhere in your audience. If he hits request, I would ask that you bring him up. I have to jump, however.
All right, no problem. We're going to wrap things up. And you mentioned the vote, and we should mention the fact that Tuesday, or if you're listening to this on the podcast, today is the primary vote in Texas. We need a lot of blue folks out there. Pick who you want to run in the Senate election, whether it be Jasmine Crockett or Tallarico. Doesn't really matter to me, just as long as whoever you vote for actually wins that fucking election and kicks a Republican out of Texas. That will cause quite a stir amongst the Republican Party. So, John, thank you for coming on and educating
Mike,
us.
just one more important thing. Please, if you're in Texas, vote for Ken Paxton. Please vote for Ken Paxton, okay? He is a good man. No one knows. He is a God-fearing man, not wife-fearing, we know that, but Ken Paxton is without doubt the best candidate to represent Texas as far as anyone else. Please vote for Ken Paxton, boys and girls. Absolutely. Vote for Ken.
Ken Paxton is the closest to Donald Trump, who is, as we know, the closest to God. So the Lord wants you to vote for Ken Paxton. Thank you, John. Oliver's mom, Eric, Trucker T, TJ the plumber, Rebecca, Will, everybody else that stepped up today. I appreciate it immensely. Those of you who spent the whole time listening, thank you for doing that. I hope you have a great day.